And we're going to get started. So welcome to Kindergarten Orientation. We're so happy that you've joined us. And we have quite a few of our staff members who are here tonight who are joining us and who will be sharing information about our school and about kindergarten with you. So we're excited about that. So before we go any further, we would like to have our staff members introduce themselves, tell you who they are and their title. Okay, we go ahead with introductions.
I can start. My name is Beverly Shelton. I'm one of the kindergarten teachers here at Jefferson Houston.
Hi, I'm Jennifer Pruss. I'm also one of the kindergarten teachers at Jefferson Houston.
Hello, my name is Hannah Graves. I'm a kindergarten teacher at Jefferson Houston.
Hello, I'm Derica Hall, and I'm also a kindergarten teacher at Jefferson Houston.
Hi, I'm Shanice Monroe. I'm one of the pairs at Jefferson Houston.
Shani Monroe, Okay. Other introductions. I think we have other staff members, parent liaison, counselor.
Sure. Hi, my name is Brittany Frazier. I'm the parent liaison at Jefferson Houston.
Hello. I'm Miss Branch. I'm one of the school counselors at Jefferson Houston. I have pre-K through 4th grade.
Miss Branch, counselor.
Good evening. My name is Jessica Donahue. I'm the special education coordinator at Jefferson Houston. Nice to meet you.
Jessica Donahue, የተለየ ትምህርት ማስተምረው አስተማሪ ነኝ። Ms. Young and Ms. Brown Dunn.
Hi, good evening. My name is Tiffany Young. I'm assistant principal at Jefferson Houston.
Hi, I am Karen Suggs. I'm the registrar at Jefferson Houston.
Good evening. My name is Jolita Brown Dunn, and I am the Dean of Students here at Jefferson Houston.
Okay. Awesome. I don't want to forget anyone, so I hope that is everyone. So we are here and we're just going to give you some information about kindergarten. Once again, we're glad you decided to join us. Let's start off with some fun facts about Jefferson Houston. So one of our fun facts, first fun fact, is that it's Alexandra's first pre-K through 8 school. And that fact lets you know that students have the opportunity to be with us from pre-K all the way up to 8th grade. So that's a lot of time spent with us and a lot of time for us to spend with students and to make sure they get a rich education and just have a lot of fun for many years with us. Part of a rich history of the Parker Gray community and Charles Houston Rec Center. And the name Jefferson Houston, named after Thomas Jefferson, our 3rd president, and then also named after Charles Hamilton Houston, who was a humanitarian. He was important for integrating the District of Columbia Public Schools. And so our mascot is the Jaguar. When you come to our facilities, which we hope that will happen when we come back to school in the fall, this is a new building built in 2014, unique architect in our building, and you will see that when you see a video that shows you our school. We are a Title I school, and our school, if you pass by, it is very beautiful at night, but you will also see people all out in the field. So it's a community hub. So you see people all out in the fields, and on the playground here at Jefferson Houston. So those were a few fun facts, just telling you a little bit about our school. And so now we're going to share a video with you. And you will get to see our Awesome.
Yeah.
So good, we almost went to see it twice.
And so there you got to see a beautiful slideshow of our beautiful school. And now we're going to talk to you about some of the programs and supports we have available here at Jefferson Houston. At our school, we really help our students realize their unique potential by providing individualized, personalized, relevant, and rigorous academic experiences. We aim to develop our students so that they become lifelong learners. We want them to possess skills and knowledge and attitudes to help them become those lifelong learners and love their learning. Jefferson Houston students translate their learning into action through various programs, and one of which is our IB program. And so the International Baccalaureate program, it aims to develop inquiring, knowledgeable, and caring young people who help to create a better and more peaceful world through their intercultural understanding and respect. And so the IB, this is our mission statement, and there are certain highlights in blue, and we want you to really notice those highlights. So again, it's the inquiring, knowledgeable, caring, intercultural understanding and respect. It's challenging programs, international education, rigorous assessment. Again, having our students be active, compassionate, lifelong learners who understand that other people with their differences can also be right. So really understanding, and this guides our work here at Jefferson Houston. We have an amazing IB coordinator, Dr. Anthony Washington, who you'll meet in future meetings. We have a meeting coming up, and you'll definitely hear the mention of the IB learner profile and what that is. With the IB mission statement, just learning outcomes for the 21st century. And again, as IB learners, we strive to be inquirers, knowledgeable, thinkers, communicators, principled, open-minded, caring, risk takers, balanced, and reflective. And that's, this is something that we embrace across our school. That's pre-K all the way up to 8. So you'll be hearing a lot more about our IB program, as well as some other programs and supports coming up.
One of the other programs that we have here at Jefferson Houston is our AVID program. Currently, our AVID program is for middle school students, and this is a college prep program and opportunity to prepare students to be ready for college and to become global citizens. They receive academic, social, and emotional support that help them succeed. They learn how to become organized. They get help. They learn how to question. They participate in Socratic discussions and seminars. The program is a great program just for preparing students to not only enter college, but to become successful. So we want them not to just go to college. We also want them to graduate. So that's what that purpose is. The SST is our student support team. And with our student support, we have daily Jaguar Seal lessons. We do checks and connects. The counselors, Mrs. Branch and Ms. Harris, they do check and connects. They do lunch bunches. Classroom teachers, they do kid talk meetings, and sometimes amongst their colleagues first, and then they may bring in specialists for if they have any concerns for students, whether it be academic, social, or behavioral. That also includes attendance. We also have daily office hours, as well as classroom teachers have daily office hours every day after school. Right now, especially in this virtual program, once school ends, students can go to office hours to receive more support or some one-on-one
Ms. Dunn, while you're speaking, there's a question. So, and since you're talking about this, could you explain what SEAL lesson is?
Oh, I'm sorry. So a SEAL lesson is social, emotional, and academic learning. We have focus or topics that we focus on every day. Like we have Talk About It Tuesday, Woke Wednesdays, Thursdays, I forget the name, but Fridays we usually do Fun and Fit Fridays. And so it is a time for us to focus on and for students to focus on, you know, this social and emotional piece. And a lot of it is connected to academics. So we do check-ins, we do lessons, students hear recorded videos and lessons, read aloud. So it's a combination of all of those things. And we do that our first 15 to 30 minutes of our day daily. We also have, the SST also focuses on attendance and just community resources. We also focus on health and wellness services, and then our parent outreach and communication. So there are a lot of members on the SST team, myself, both counselors, Mrs. Branch, Mrs. Harris, Ms. Harris, Mr. Beeson, our school psychologist, Ms. Looney, who is our school social worker, Nurse Pastori, and then our parent liaison, which is Ms. Frazier. And so we come together, we meet weekly, we talk about any referrals that we have or any students or family concerns that we may have. We talk about attendance. And if we need to make a larger team, we invite most of the admin, Ms. Suggs, who is also our registrar and our attendance officer as well.
All right, so next we have PBIS. So what is PBIS? It is a district-led initiative. And so at JH, we offer a positive behavior intervention and support program, which is a proactive and preventative approach to help our students achieve social, emotional, and academic success. And so when we talk about our IB learner profiles, our expectations for PBIS is also parallel to our IB learner profiles. So our expectations is ROARS, which stands for respect, ownership, achievement, reflective, and safe. And so it's a universal language across our school. So our students not here only in the classroom, but as they transition through the building, as well as in their encore classes, through administration, the main office. So they hear it everywhere. And we also have our expectations posted throughout the halls. And because we were in Zoom, they also saw them throughout the day in Zoom, as well as throughout SIL lessons. So this is an effort to make sure that we honor our students, as well as build strong relationships and being proactive with meeting their needs. And then it gives them some ownership as well. We do have a PBIS ROARS matrix. I'm not sure if we want to click on that, but it sets the expectations for our students and what it looks like across different areas within our school. So in the hallways, within the classroom, if we have an assembly, if we're on the playground. So they have identifiers of what the expectation is when it comes to our ROARS expectations. I know it's kind of small. Are y'all able to see them? I know my screen is small. So if we think about being respectful in that area, so we have in the instructional area, want to make sure that we're using kind words. And if you look throughout the matrix, you can see what the expectations are for each area. And the great thing is students get to earn points. So there's a point system if you're familiar with Class Dojo. If you're not, you got to look it up. It's a really great tool where teachers can communicate with families, but also students earn their points based on our matrix for holding to the expectation. Then at the end of each month, they earn an award, a reward for meeting those expectations and earning those points. We have a school-wide celebration. And then at the end of every week, teachers also have some type of celebration in their classroom if they choose to. So you heard a little bit about MTSS, which is our multi-tier system of supports, which can be found within the classroom and throughout the school as well. So at our tier 1 level of supports, we have academic, social, emotional, and behavior supports, which is pretty much what you see within a classroom. Our tier 1 supports happen with differentiated instruction, through Kid Talks and with data cycles. Then our SEAL time. So that SEAL time that Ms. Brown Dunn mentioned a little bit earlier, having students learn how to take a moment for deep breathing strategies so that they are being proactive there. They're learning how to make friends through those SEAL lessons. So this is a preventative approach as well at tier 1. At tier 2, you move to the next level and you see a little bit more of your specialists come in. So you'll see myself a little bit more in the classroom. You might see your reader intervention, your math intervention personnel that come in to support the teachers at tier 2. So it's a little bit more intense. And so the MTSS referral comes in and we're monitoring students based on the teachers saying, hey, I need a little bit more support. We're noticing this from our data cycles. And so interventions are a little bit more strategic with our grouping of students. As you move to tier 3, when it comes to the academic and then our social emotional behavior supports, your groups are a little bit smaller and we're really focusing on those concerns of the students' needs based on the data. And the great thing about our multi-tier system of supports is that just because a student has moved to tier 1 doesn't mean that we stop at they move to tier 2 doesn't mean that we stop at tier 1. It's a continuum of support. And hopefully we see progress as our babies move across the tier so that eventually they don't need that support.
All right. So at this time, we want to introduce our kindergarten team, where we like to say, you are in for a treat. Kindergarten life is nice and sweet. And so we have Ms. Graves and Ms. Hall. We have Ms. Melissa Hall, and then we have Ms. Derica Hall and Ms. Shanice Monroe. We have Ms. Pruss and Ms. Miriam Taldress, and we also have Ms. Beverly Shelton and Mr. Franklin Gunn. And so you'll hear a little bit more from them as they talk about what life is like in kindergarten.
Okay, I'm going to start off with the language arts, and team, welcome to Hyman and to what I'm talking about. The language art block that we have at our school is we have a read aloud where we read a story to a student every day. We allow them to answer questions about the story, make predictions about the stories. And we also have a read aloud, a shared reading. And then we have our centers, which is our guided reading. And that's where we take our students at the level they're reading and help them be able to get to the next level. So those groupings would be very small. I would say 4 to 5 children. And while they're in the group with the teacher reading, they'll be able to go to rotations. Well, they'll be with our assistants, and they'll be able to do handwriting, independent writing, and also some phonics and phonics instruction. So they'll have that every day. We also do a writing program called Readers and Writers, where students are able to express themselves through the writing. And we do that process that starts off small, and then they are able to write a couple of pages in their books. So our language art program is very nice and it's very small. It starts off with a full group, but yeah, we had individualized reading lessons within our classroom. So that's our language arts. We also try to put our social studies in there. So if we're teaching, like right now, we're teaching about the past and the present. What we're reading books about, nonfiction books about the past and the present. How was it a long time ago? What kind of schools did they go to? What kind of toys did they play with? And what does the transportation look at? And because we're an IB school, we try to make sure that's not individual blocks, but it's blended all together, and the children absolutely love it. Does one of the teachers want to talk about math or science?
I can take that one. So when we do math, we do kind of a similar structure as our reading block. We have a whole group time where we're all together, and then we break out into centers. So this is time to work on specific skills that are related to the main lesson or skills that students may need a little more help on. And then at this time, teachers will pull students in small groups to work on them on a skill basis, and we'll see common themes within the students learning to see if there is a group who just needs one focus skill within the unit. And then when we do our science and social studies, we usually do that, well, depending on what it ties in with, we can put it with math. So for example, one math concept we did was positional words, and that went perfectly with our maps unit. And we could talk about, okay, well, is this far away? Is this near? And we can talk about, okay, well, if we're going to Canada or this version of this story, well, dependent on the lesson, you know, if this version is in Canada, we have to go up, and we talk about different positional words, and that tied in with our maps. And then we also, at the very end of the day, last year we had our creative play centers, which also could tie into our science and social studies themes. So for example, Ms. Shelton runs a learning garden at our school. So when we talked about life cycles and plants and animals, the students were actually able to go and do hands-on things, or we went and pulled up carrots or other vegetables, and they brought them into our classroom so we could have a hands-on experience of just talking about plants, and then they actually get to observe a real plant.
Okay. And so at this time, if Ms. Pruss, if you would share about energizers, what is meant by energizers in the day of a life of a kindergarten student?
Yeah, so throughout the day, obviously they're young students, so they have to get their wiggles out. So we do different energizers throughout the day, just different songs. And this can actually also relate to what we're learning about in different content areas as well. Like, for example, in math, one of my energizers that I just do throughout the day is like counting to 100 song. So these energizers can also relate to what we're learning about. Yeah, and especially on Zoom right now, we've been doing them even more just to get them up and moving. So yeah.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Hall, if you would talk to us about intervention and enrichment, what it looks like in kindergarten. Ms. Derica Hall.
Hello, I'm Ms. Hall. In intervention, we pull kids in small groups, and we review and reintroduce skills that some students may need a little extra help with. We also have small groups for kids who need enrichment, and these are students that may have achieved or mastered our kindergarten skills, and sometimes we have to introduce maybe first grade skills with those kids, give them activities and games to help them enrich things that they already know. And so that's what we pretty much do in intervention and enrichment, just working with those small groups, trying to reintroduce and review skills, and trying to enhance the skills that some of our students have already mastered.
Okay. And Ms. Shelton, if you could share what lunch and recess looks like for students.
I saw in the question and answer that someone asked, is the upper grades or other grades with us during lunchtime? No, we have our own cafeteria where the kindergartners go down together, and they go down to the cafeteria. They have a variety of things they can pick from, including a delicious salad. I know that because I used to always pick the salad. And they're able to eat lunch together. Right now we're eating lunch together in the classroom, but in our school, we do have our own cafeteria on the bottom floor, the same level where the kindergartners is at. All the kindergartners eat together. We do have our assigned tables where we're at, but it's, you know, we have minimum sound barrier, and their students are allowed to chat as long as they eat. We also have a playground area, which the whole community absolutely loves. I know, because I go to the garden on Saturdays, and the whole community is in our playground area. We have 3 portions of our playground areas. We have a small portion of it, and we have equipment from jungle gyms to a new version of a teeter-totter to slides, and children have a wonderful time. That's where they can socialize, meet their friends, talk, run around, and teachers absolutely love taking their kids out to recess because we hear so many different conversations and see so many students building these relationships and this old language and having fun. So we have great areas, our lunch and also our recess area.
So next we'll talk about Encore. So Encore are our specials. It's just what we call it here in Alexandria. So they have PE with Mr. Roadtruck, art with Miss she goes by Ms. Faye, Spanish with Senora Estevez, library with Ms. Alice Lee Lavender, and music with Ms. Bianca Hancock-Siggers. The students go to Encore for about 45 minutes a day, and for each of the grade levels, it rotates each day which class has it. So throughout the whole week, each kindergarten class will get to experience each of the Encores. Encore is awesome. The students love it. They love getting out, moving. They love seeing other parts of the building. Maybe they see their siblings when we walk on the way to Encore, so they'll always wave. Encore is awesome because they do collaborate with us in the grade level team as well. So for example, for PE, when we last year in the beginning of the year, we were learning about personal space. And Mr. Rochuk collaborated and talked about what we were doing in the beginning of school. And he's like, okay, we're gonna play a game that says we're space invaders and we have our personal space bubble. And you know, the kids could make fun sounds when they were too close, like beep, beep, beep. And you know, the students absolutely love that. And same thing with library and all the other Encores, is they talk about what are we doing in the classroom and how can we connect with that in a fun, creative way.
So we just want to share with you some of the other things that happen in the day of life in the kindergartner as we experience our journey to excellence here at Jefferson Houston. about what happened so far mid-year. Since then, we've had a number of things to of course, happen. And we're excited to continue our journey together. And we just wanted you to see a glimpse of what goes on. And at this time, we're very fortunate to have our registrar here. She knows the city of Alexandria. She is from Alexandria. She's going to share a little bit more about how to contact her and then how to enroll this school for next school year. And Ms. Suggs, you may have heard her voice in the beginning. She introduced herself. She was on with us.
We'll just come back to her part. If we could go on to K-Prep.
K-Prep?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So Ms. Shelton, if you could talk to us and tell us about kindergarten prep and what kindergarten prep is like.
Okay. In August, we have a kindergarten prep program, and that's where parents can register their students to come in early. It's sort of like an orientation. And what happened in the past, it might be a little bit different this year, but what happened in the past is kindergartners will come in and they'll come in for a half a day of school. And they will come into the classroom and they'll be introduced to a teacher, learn how to sit on the carpet, and we'll read stories to them, and they'll be able to intermingle with other kindergartners in the classroom. They get a tour of the school, what the school looks like, and they'll also be able to sing songs. We do a very little assessment of them just to see if they know their letter sounds and how to write their names. But it's theme-based. One year we had it around the farm. So we did everything about farm animals and made it lots of fun. And it's only a half a day. And last year what we did is we just had a program where parents would come into our Zoom, each teacher, and they would be able to talk to them a little about your child. What do they like to do, their favorite colors? Do they know their letters and sounds? We do an introduction that we get to meet them over Zoom and we talk to them, and we kind of get a rapport before we even start school, which is awesome because when we start school, all of the other students come, but if the kindergartners get to come first, we are experts at the school. And that's exactly what they feel like. They feel like experts. So we get all that nervousness out of the way before, you know, the beginning of the school starts. And I advise it 100%. It is so much fun.
And I know today things are constantly changing, obviously because of being virtual and transitioning back to in-person. So today, Dr. McCain also shared that kindergarten prep this year will be August 2nd through 6th. For now, it will be virtual. It will be 4 half days. And of course, this is subject to change, not the dates, but the virtual is subject to change as, you know, we continue to work towards plans for the start of the year, and we continue to follow health metrics. And so we are definitely excited about kindergarten prep. Ms. Graves, I know you have been present for kindergarten prep as well. Is there anything that you would like to share, or Ms. Hall or Ms. Press, about kindergarten prep?
I think Ms. Shelton covered it wonderfully. It's a great program and we highly encourage your students to sign up. It's a great opportunity to see what school's about.
Okay.
Awesome. Ms. Suggs is back. She did have some connection issues. So Ms. Young, if we could go back to that slide. Thank you.
Okay.
You're on, Ms. Suggs.
Okay, I'm on and y'all can hear me and it's great. Okay, I'm Ms. Suggs, I'm the registrar, and just registration started today for parents to start their registration for the kindergartners. You have to be 5 years, the student has to be 5 years old by September 30th. I recommend and encourage parents to go online to register the students. And that address, yes, how to enroll the student. Will give the information what is needed for you to enroll your student. You will need the birth certificate. You will need the physical, current immunizations, and a TB. Now the physical has to be done before school is starting. If the physical is after August the 24th, if you did it August 25th last year, it'll be too old. So it gives information on the website about the physical, the immunizations, and the TB. The proof of residency is a lease, current or mortgage statement, and two other, you can use a utility bill, but it gives a list of what you can use for the other two proofs of residency, along with the lease. And
they can't see what's on the screen. It's I don't know, the pixels are just blurry, but also let them know where they can find this information.
Yes, that's what I was going to do.
All right.
I just want to make sure that parents know that you have to have the medical before the students start school. That is not going to be compromised, okay? The website address is on the screen, https://www.acps.k12.va.us/enroll. That is where you can go in and do the online registration. You will need to set up an account, but all of that information is on that website address.
All right.
So there's a question in the Q&A. It's if we do the online registration, how long do we have before we have to come present the documents?
That is the, an appointment has to be set up. Even though you upload the documents, I still have to see them. So you have to make an appointment to bring them in the building or to the building. If you were not able to upload your documents, you can bring them to me after you've made an appointment. I make copies, give it right back to you, and that takes a good 5 minutes.
And what's the deadline to bring them in?
It's no deadline.
So before school?
No deadline.
Before school.
It's just, it's ongoing. If that's
but before school starts, they have to have those documents in?
They have to have those documents in, of course, before school starts.
Right.
But as far as a cutoff time when registration stops, it does not. It's ongoing.
Okay. All right. Oh, wow, I was taking this back. Okay.
We need to, you skipped the slide, Ms. Young. It was kindergarten transportation.
Okay.
Yeah. There you go.
All right.
I'll go ahead. Is it okay if I go ahead?
Yes, proceed.
Okay. All right, kindergarten student bus transportation. Parents of kindergarten students are required to meet the arrival of the bus in the afternoons, as these students are not allowed to depart the bus except into the hands of a responsible receiver. Parents are permitted to appoint up to 3 individuals as their child's responsible receivers. If the driver does not recognize this individual at the bus stop, the individual must provide a picture ID which matches the name shown on the school bus manifest.
Okay. And we know that there are a few questions. We did have a parent to reach out to us and say, well, can you tell me more about transportation? We wanted to share this site to answer questions about transportation. On this site, you will find out who is eligible for bus transportation and how you will find out if your child has been assigned for transportation. And so we're going to go back to the presentation so that you can actually get that link. It's at the bottom. You can actually go on the ACPS site and then put in transportation, and that same page will come up. But the page identifier is page /553. And so we wanted to make sure that we shared that information and shared the exact information, because that kindergarten bus transportation part is a very important part of keeping children safe, especially our younger learners.
Yes. So Ms. Suggs, we have a question in the chat, and it asks about the appointments. What are the hours that appointments are available? So if you could talk a little more about how that's done, and on certain days, how that will also fall as far as the appointments.
Okay. Once you have done your registration, you can call the office, or I can call you, because I'm starting to get the registrations already for the 2021-22 school year. I will do appointments from 9 until 3. I'm trying to do 1 day a month, a late registration, and I'm sorry, a late appointment. So if parents need to come in after work, I will be here, I think it's from 12 to 7 in the evening. So I do ask if you have your documents that they are current, and please make sure that they are what is required on that website. But if you want to make an appointment, like I said, I start at 9 o'clock in the morning, and it takes about 5 minutes. If everything is in place, I just make a copy and give it back to you.
And Ms. Suggs, if one parent starts the online registration, but the other parent is the one to come by with the documents, that is okay, correct?
That is fine.
Yes.
That is fine. That is fine.
Awesome.
Yes.
All right. So a lot of information has been shared about kindergarten, and we know that it is an exciting time. It's an exciting time for the students, an exciting time for parents, and an exciting time for the teachers. But kindergarten means making new friends. Definitely a time to expand those social skills, learning new ideas. And with us being an IB school and really emphasizing worldwide events and understanding other cultures and other points of view, is definitely a time where students are learning new ideas. They're reading new books. Literacy is big for our kindergarten team. Solving new problems, yes. What book is that, Ms. Hall? We love books around here. Could you unmute yourself?
I have The Night Before Mother's Day.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah, The Night Before Summer Vacation.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Playing new games, definitely reaching new goals. Goal setting for students is an important part of what we do. And making new mistakes and helping students to understand that it is okay to make mistakes, and we all will make them. The best thing is that we learn from them, and most of all, just having fun the whole way through. And so that's what kindergarten means to us and to the students once they enter the school. Now, you've heard a lot and we've answered many questions through the chat, but we are going to open time if there are other questions. We have our kindergarten team here who can just answer a lot of questions, and the admin team, our registrar, and others are here as well if there are other questions, and we're going to give you an opportunity to ask other questions if you haven't asked those already. You're holding up more books, I see. So if there are other questions, or if you all see other questions in the chat, team, please answer those as well.
Sure. One of the questions is, do you offer after-school programs? We have a representative from the Boys and Girls Club who comes to school in the afternoon to pick up those kids who are registered with that program. We typically have Campagna in the building, and I do believe they'll be in the building again next year. And that's an after-school program. The kids absolutely love it, who are in it. And I do know that there's an after-school program through the YMCA on Monroe in Delray. But that's aside from our school programs.
Okay. Thank you. Just looking at the other questions so we can answer that. So when will we find out what class our child is in? So that's a good question, and I can't give you the specifics of that. Hopefully, and we'll talk with the team. Sometimes it's good when the students come in that they may be with a different teacher, and that's what we did last year. But this year, we may do things differently. And so we will definitely let you know, but it would definitely be before they come back to school. And it may be before K-Prep. It just depends on how we do K-Prep this year. And we will let you know. It could be that when they come in for K-Prep, they're with their teacher instead of being with other teachers. So that could happen before K-Prep, and it may happen after K-Prep. But we're designing that, and we're talking through that. Miss Hall is having fun. So, but it would definitely be before you come back to school. You will get that information. I'm looking to see if there are other questions with my eyes.
So there's a question about how do you sign up for after school programs? So they are separate from our school. The only one that's in the facility is Campagna, and that's an after school program. You sign up with those organizations through their organization, but I'm happy to help you facilitate that and have done it many a time. My phone number will be on one of the slides, so feel free to give a call or text.
Yeah, thank you, Ms. Frazier. And Ms. Frazier, again, is our parent liaison. I think there was one more question, and it talks about uniforms. And I think that's some information that we may have out there that we need to remove. We have, this is actually, and I didn't introduce myself. I just assumed that you all knew who I was. But I am Dr. McCain. I am the principal. You'll hear the title, head of school. This is my first year at Jefferson Houston, and I'm enjoying the ride. It's been an exciting time. But as far as the uniforms, that has not been followed consistently. And so that is not a requirement for our students. So that has, and I think previously for the past 2 years, that hasn't been followed, team, for those of you who have been here. And so we have not followed the uniform. So students are able to wear their regular clothes. Now we do have dress code protocol that is shared with families as well. Okay, I'm not sure if there are other questions. I love the questions that our families are asking us. Please ask away. I know we set aside an hour, but if it takes more time because you have questions, we're more than willing to field those questions.
There is a link on, Ms. Young, is this link a click-through link? Can they, okay.
We're gonna put it there.
So we would highly encourage you to sign up for the Jaguar Junction. That's a newsletter that goes out every Friday in the afternoon. Gives the highlights of the week, what is to expect in the upcoming weeks, dates to remember, and just some fun things that are happening in the community. as well as some community resources. So we encourage you to sign up for that. And there is my phone number at the bottom. If you guys need anything, I might not have the answer, but I can find the person who does.
Dr. McCain, can I also say one thing about registration? Parents that sign up online, please be sure to go to the right year. Please make sure you go to the 2021-2022 school year. The previous school year, the present school year is there also. And sometimes people make mistakes and go there, but I'm just asking, please make sure you go to the correct school year.
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Suggs, for clarifying and make sure that parents are aware of that information. Ms. Frazier, thank you for reminding our parents about the junction. We want you to keep in touch with us as you may have other questions. And I think we have received emails from some of our future parents. And so as you email us, we will be sure to respond within 24 hours, but always check out our website for additional information. You can always call our front office. They will connect you to wherever you need to be connected and so forth. So we just ask that you would keep in touch. Ms. Frazier is right there to assist you any way she can. I think there's one other question. And it's one of those questions. So no uniforms required. No, they're not required. To say if they are going away, like I said, this is my first year. We have not been in school until recently, and we don't have uniforms. Students are not wearing uniforms. So I would venture to say that yes, uniforms are going away. But if there's more information, one of the things that we like to do is we do use the junction. We do use Blackboard Connect, and we mail out things. We try to make sure that our families are well informed and informed ahead of time. And if that were not the case in the upcoming year, we would make sure to communicate that with our families. But I would venture to say that the uniforms are going away. And I think the information from the site or something has been put in the chat for our parents. And that brings us to 6 o'clock. So 1 hour, exactly. Thank you once again for attending and for being with us. And I know there may be many other questions. We are more than happy to answer those if you want to call or email, and continue to check out our website if you're looking for other information. Thank you and have a wonderful night. Thanks again for being here. We look forward to the future with your child.
Thank you.
Have a good night, everybody.
Oh, a question in the chat. What is the best email if you have other questions later?
There should be a general email. I don't know if someone can put it into the question. There's a Jefferson Houston general email. It's on the website. And that's received by one of our front office staff and the admin staff. So we do receive those questions. So that's an excellent site. My email address is on the site as well. So thank you, Ms. Young. Ms. Young put that in the chat so you could see with that email. And we have a few people attending to that because sometimes we're busy and we just want to make sure that we're responsive to our community. Thank you again, everyone. Have a great night. Thank you, kindergarten teachers. Thank you, Ms. Donahue and Ms. Suggs and Ms. Frazier and Ms. Branch. Thank you all. Have a great night.
Good night, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you, interpreters.
Oh, thank you, interpreters. I told you all I'm the worst about. I appreciate you all.